It's finally nice enough outside that I can fly my drone without worrying it'll freeze in mid-air. So today, I'm gonna show you how to make a dronie, specifically one that looks like this. It's actually pretty easy to do, so let's get started. I'm trying to make Nebraska a little more interesting for you guys, so I'm at a park in Omaha that has a lake instead of some flat ground. Which leads me to my first point. You want to either start or end your dronie with a point of interest. This could be a city skyline, a beautiful sunset, it doesn't matter. Something that will attract the viewer's eye. Today that's going to be this lake, and hopefully we get a little bit of a sunset. It's not looking likely. Okay, let's get the drone up in the air. Once the drone's in the air, I like to frame myself in the middle of the shot with the drone directly above me. Once I have that set, I typically ascend at full speed because I know it'll give me a little bit of motion blur, and I'm gonna retime it in post anyway. As I'm ascending the drone up, I tilt the camera up towards the skyline. Keep the camera focused on your point of interest until you reach max height. You might want to try this a few times to get that perfect maneuver, but once you get that down, then you could try more advanced maneuvers like rotating the drone as you ascend. Just packed up the drone, got all the footage we need. Now let's go hit that editing room. Alright, before we begin, let me start by saying that you can achieve this effect in any video editing software, but today I'll be using Adobe Premiere and Adobe After Effects. Let's jump in. To begin, I'll set my in and out points for where I want the clip to begin. Roughly right there. And we want it to end somewhere around there. So let's drag that on the timeline. Next, I'll click on FX, time remapping, speed. Now let's find where we want this clip to begin to speed up, roughly about here, and I'll set a keyframe. Now let's find where it ends, about right there. Now you can see I already have a marker here for where our camera tilt is. I want this to be roughly in the middle because that'll help disguise our tilt with our motion blur. Then we'll just speed ramp this middle section by dragging this up to 1000%. Premiere only lets you do 1000% per clip, so the best way to get around that is to nest this clip. We'll call it dronie nest. Hit OK. Now all we have to do is speed ramp this nest. It's kind of a messy workaround, but it works. Once that's speed ramped to the way I want, I will duplicate that clip, and then I will right click, replace with After Effects composition. I like to duplicate anything I send to After Effects just so I have that original clip to fall back on. Now that we're in After Effects, there's not a whole lot we need to do, but this is where the dronie really comes to life. So here are our keyframes for our speed ramp, and we're going to separate this out by hitting Control-Shift-D. Then I'll select our speed ramp and I'll go to Effects, Time, CC Force Motion Blur, and I'll drag that onto the clip. You can already see that's going to work. Now all we have to do is adjust some parameters. I like to start the motion blur samples with about 12, but be careful because this effect can be a lot for your computer to handle. After Effects crashed on me about 4 times making this. With motion blur applied, we get something like this. It's not too bad, but let's see if we can make it a little smoother. Let's jump into our nested sequence. Let's click on our keyframes. Let's right click, keyframe, assist, easy ease. Let's just smooth it out a little bit. Now to address the motion blur. While we're in here, we're also going to click frame blending. We're going to change it to this arrow, which means pixel motion. Then make sure you hit this toggle button as well, that enables it. We're going to click over back to our main comp, and we're going to click on this rasterize so that effect comes through, and make sure frame blending is enabled on this comp as well. After Effects is crashing on me right now. Oh my god. That's all we have to do in After Effects. Now let's send it back to Premiere and add some final touches. After a quick color grade, I hit the export button, and here is our final result. wasn't the best dronie I've ever made, but I wanted to try adding that camera tilt, which could have been better. Let me know if you learned anything in the comments below, and tag me on social media if you make a dronie of your own. And as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next week.
See those deer over there? Up there?